All right, and I think we are live. I think we are live. We are checking it out here, guys. What's up to everyone? OG over here from Player Essence. We've got another EssenceCast for you guys. Got a lot of cool people in the room here with us, and hopefully you guys are all having a great day and everything. I think it's been pretty good so far if you're here with PE Arena. Got a lot of cool stuff going on for today. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the people that I got here. So I'm looking over to, I'm gonna go ahead and look over to my right, and we have Mama Mercy here. How's it going, Mama Mercy?
It's going great.
Cool, cool, cool. And then we also have Itaki Teachers here. Itaki, how's it going?
Pretty good. I guess you can all see what I look like finally. So nice to see.
Yeah, and then we also have Avidan. Avidan is also here. What's up, Avidan?
What's going on, y'all?
It's going good, going good, good. So I do want to ask a question here, though, just because we're streaming and it says that I'm live, but at the same time, it says that there's no viewers here. So I'm hoping everything is going correctly. So if you're in the chat and you guys can see what's going on, how does it look so far? Because I'm thinking that it's not.
You're live. I
Okay.
see you.
Oh, everything's good? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it,
Yep.
got it, got it. All right, so let me go ahead and look at the chat here. Let me pull that up. We did have a donation beforehand. All right, 24 views. Okay, you guys are all good. Looks and sounds good. Fantastic. Okay, guys, I want to first apologize for the delay. There was a little bit of a delay in terms of getting this going, just because we were trying to figure out the technical aspect. Well, I am. And then thankfully, we have someone that's much better here at tech than I am. So Avidan, I'm going to go ahead and say thanks to Avidan for actually saving the podcast to where we can get it looking like this. Because otherwise, guys, it was just going to be a flat out Google Hangout like normal, you know? So Avidan, just everyone give a little clap, little clap it up a little bit for Avidan here, because he really did help me out, guys. Things wouldn't have been as good. So let me just explain kind of the podcast, because I know this is the second one, kind of what's going on here. So this on YouTube, I think I have probably one of the most unique ones, because this is a complete community podcast, then also with the guests. So what you're seeing here, Mama Mercy, she is part of the PE Ninja. She's part of right here with my community. You also see Itaki Teacher, who's also part of the community, and those are going to be the main guests on our channel each time. Is that it's actually a community podcast, and of course you guys will be able to join in. We're getting in tier 3 Patreons, and then we're also going to be getting in sponsors afterwards. So that's the cool thing about this podcast, is that it's actually a community podcast. Most of the members are going to be from the community on here. And then we'll usually have a guest or two that's not part. But the funny thing is that this time it's actually a whole community, because Avidan's here, you know? So Avidan's also part of the community. But that's because there was just a lot of last second thing that we're putting together. But we do have a really good show for you guys. And I think that it's going to be really cool. I think that it's going to be really cool. We also have some custom integration that we're doing as well, as you guys can see here. Anytime something pops up, you guys will see it on the right or the left for new subscribers and all that. And of course, at the bottom there, you also have that. So we added in some integration for you guys, and I thought that was pretty cool. And Mark, no, you're okay. You're okay. We have some other things that we're going to be doing in terms of the stream. So look forward to that. It's going to get better and better each week. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the custom integration that we do have here. We'll put current topics above us right here. This is the EssenceCast 2. But we'll put current topics in terms of what's going on and what we're talking about, so you guys can kind of know if you like jump in right in the middle of it. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff, that's going on here. And I'm glad everything looks and sounds great. Thanks for all of you guys for joining me this weekend. Seriously, I do appreciate that. But let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and jump into the first topic here. You know, and shout outs to Trevor hitting us with that subscription. Thank you so much. As you can see, that live integration right there. Thank you so much, everyone in the chat. Please make sure Trevor feels very welcome. Appreciate you joining us on the podcast here. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the first topic, and we have the Call of Duty Battle Royale on the Nintendo Switch. So apparently, I put a question mark at the end of that too. So apparently, there was there's a rumor going around from Charlie's Intel, who's a big Call of Duty guy, and also Gaming Intel. I think that's his site that he's affiliated with, or whatever the case is. But he usually has the scoop on Call of Duty. That's what he does. He's a Call of Duty dude, and he's saying that Call of Duty. You know the new one's called Black Ops 4, right, guys?
Yes.
But he's saying that the Battle Royale mode from the Call of Duty is going to be in there. So the Battle Royale one is going to be in there. So what do you guys think about that? So basically, it's kind of like a two-founded rumor here. He's saying that Call of Duty Battle Royale is going to be made. So that's the first rumor, that there's even going to be a Call of Duty Battle Royale for this upcoming game. But there's going to be a standalone version that that comes to the Switch. So the Switch isn't getting Call of Duty Black Ops 4, but it's getting Call of Duty Black Ops Battle Royale, or whatever they're going to want to call it, as a standalone release. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this when it comes to? We'll start with Avidan. What do you guys think about this? Do you think this rumor is true? How do you feel about it?
Who did the rumor come from? That would be my first guess. I missed the rumor.
Yeah, the rumor is from Charlie's Intel. He's like a big Call of Duty dude, gaming intel.
I would say, you know, I could see it happening, but in terms of Call of Duty, I've never been much of a Call of Duty fan. But to those who like the series, it's a coin flip. It could do well, it could do bad, in my opinion. It's a coin flip toss on that one. That's how I feel about that.
Okay. Do you feel that? How do you feel that it would do if there was like some type of Call of Duty Battle Royale or something like that? Do you think that it would be, you know, something popular people would want?
Probably on the other platforms. I would think that'd be one of those instances. Well, why isn't it on this platform where it is a much larger fan base? Simply because I believe it's the Xbox controller is more geared towards shooters. Am I wrong? Is it PlayStation 4?
I mean, well, yeah, Xbox, yeah, people think is more geared towards shooters, yeah.
Geared towards shooters. So I would say, in terms of the Switch, me personally, and don't get me wrong, I love my Switch. I just don't know how many people would want that game in particular, per se. And then again, I'm totally ignorant on that community when it comes to Call of Duty. So I will go on a limb to saying that. Just my personal opinion, I don't necessarily see that game. Well, I'll see it doing about 1 or 2 million, probably within the year it comes out. So within a full 12 months, I'll say it'll probably do 1 to 2 million that whole entire year.
Okay. So 1 to 2 million for the
entire year.
Yeah, for the entire year. Okay. Makes sense. Okay, and what we're talking about, if you just joined in, we're talking about a rumor that Call of Duty could be coming to Nintendo Switch, but the Battle Royale mode only. So not the whole Call of Duty Black Ops 4 with the zombies and I guess there's no single player this year or whatever. There's a rumor about that. And the multiplayer, none of that, just the Battle Royale mode that they're developing. So that's what people are, or that's what the rumor is right now. So, Mama Mercy, how do you feel about this? Would you like a Call of Duty Battle Royale type of game to come to Switch? Would this be something that you'd be interested in purchasing, or do you even think that this is true? How about that?
Well, I am not a COD fan, like at all. I don't like COD. But is Call of Duty owned by EA?
No,
Activision.
Oh. So say, sounds like an EA thing, like FIFA.
They're just as bad as EA almost at this point.
Yeah, but they're getting there.
I mean,
I think you cut out, Mama Mercy. Yeah, I think she definitely cut out a bit. Okay, well, we'll get back to Mama Mercy. In the meantime, we'll go to Itaki. Itaki, how do you feel about this, man?
So when I heard this, my first reaction was it's better than nothing, I guess. Better than no Call of Duty. I'm not really a COD fan either. I kind of prefer Battlefield over it for the most part. But I've owned a lot of the games. Like on the Wii U, I had both of them, Black Ops 2 and Ghosts, which were okay. I think they're cutting out the single player because there's some companies want to move away from single player games, especially if they're more popular in the multiplayer realm, which is definitely COD. So I guess that's whatever. If we don't get it, I think it's a loss because there are people that really like it. And it would probably draw a lot of people if we had the full game as well.
Yeah, some people are asking in the chat, and we'll definitely get you guys integrated into the conversation. But some people are saying like, is it going to be like free to play? That's what Spider Monkey's saying. Like, do you guys think that it would be a free to play thing, or do you guys think that it's actually going to be like a $30 download like PUBG or something like that? What do you think?
It's going to be like PUBG.
Okay, you think it's going to be like PUBG where you actually have to pay for it?
It's Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Avidan, you think the same thing as well?
Exactly. I 100% what you said.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I would have to agree. I think that it would be paid like a $20 to $30. I mean, yeah, probably not 20. 20 is probably a little too low, right? So yeah, probably like a $30 thing. But I think that it'd be good though. Wouldn't I mean? I think that it'd be good for like just the whole Switch. Just like Switch doesn't have a lot of shooters, right?
It
So the
doesn't.
more variety that the Switch can get, the better. So I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing, and I don't see like people doing like I guess we can talk about battle royale games too, right? I don't see people doing battle royale games like that's not a problem, you know? Like if somebody does a battle royale game, because people are saying, "Oh, there's too many." I see some people in the comment section saying, "Oh, there's too many," and all this different.
There's only two that I know of.
Isn't there only like 4?
No, there's a ton battle royale games.
Did we list
Okay,
them off?
big ones.
Well, big ones.
Okay, you're talking. Okay,
well,
yeah,
yeah.
big ones. Then yeah, there's only like a
There's-
few.
Like a ton of clones on the App Store of Fortnite, and also a PUBG as well.
There's
But
like
then
there's like the Darwin Project. There's that on PC. There's like what else is? You have Fortnite. Obviously, you have PUBG. There's more that I'm not thinking of. I mean, you have like the old
Radical Heights.
yeah, Radical Heights. Then you have like the old. You still have like H1Z. You still have all the other like type of games that were kind of like that. You know.
there's Crazy Justice that's coming out.
Yeah,
later
Crazy
on.
Justice is coming out, and there's actually more. There's actually like a Dark Souls type of PUBG game coming out. You know, it's like, but it's like with swords and stuff. You know, but it's like battle royale style of game. You know.
You want to know what I want to see?
What's up?
Now that we've gotten over Mario holding a hand cannon, I want Nintendo Battle Royale.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh
why not?
boy. That would be dope. I didn't even think about that.
So like, what would be like all Nintendo characters and just?
It'll be
Yeah.
that would actually be dope. That would actually be like the new. Yeah, that would be dope. Now I'm thinking about it. Wow, great idea, Mom Mercy.
I know. That's why I'm here.
I don't, would that work though? Like, what would like give us like the setup like a Nintendo battle royale? Like, it would be like
You could do like
you
classic.
you like fly in with Mario. He's like, Mamma Mia, and he like flies. In, and just, like,
Yeah.
and, like like what weapons do you get? Like you just like what weapons would you get?
The Flood from Sunshine would probably definitely be in there.
The flood from.
Yeah, all the weapons from
You could throw the bombs.
Mario plus Rabbids probably would be in there.
Yeah, Mario plus Rabbids, guns. I would even say if they made it like somewhat like mechanics like Overwatch, where you could grapple on the different things. Link to use his hook shot. So that could be a few things that you can use. So the characters could use melee attacks or range attacks.
And have different drop zones be big areas from Nintendo, like Peach's Castle and Hyrule Castle.
Okay, I can dig it. I think it would be interesting. I think the bigger thing would be like if like let's just kind of going back to Call of Duty a bit. Hopefully the full game comes at some point too. I think that giving Nintendo fans like just like the battle royale, but not the rest of the game. I would hope that they're thinking about bringing it over. Maybe there's like an announcement at E3, and maybe it comes a little bit afterwards. But I would hope that it does come over like the full game. We do have some comments though. I want to kind of get that integration into here, and then Mr. Nichols says Nintendo isn't the one to follow trends. So that's true. That's definitely true. Nintendo definitely isn't the one to follow trends. They like to do stuff on their own. So, I mean, maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't.
Oh, I 100% understand that. I just thought it'd be fun.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
what about like a battle royale mode added to like Splatoon? I think we talked about that before, right?
That'd be great.
Yeah. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I would actually play that.
Yeah, I would play
I'd
that
the heck out of
100%.
that. Oh yeah,
I play that all the time. That was actually one of my ideas for Splatoon because all of it is team based, but having it in battle royale form, that'll make it even 10 times better. But add a lot of value to the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd be completely down for like even if it was like a 20. It doesn't even have to be as big as because like you can make the map smaller,
Mm-hmm.
and like you can do other things like the ink storm. The ink storm is closing in. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, that would be way too much copying though. At that point, they'd be like, but I mean, you could do something to where it's like I don't know, like like what's the green stuff from the from the
Salmon Run.
Salmon Run. Yeah, like that stuff kind of closes in a
Yeah.
little bit more. Or there's like hazards that come up. So I mean, they can make it innovative. They can customize it. But I'm like, everyone gets so upset whenever new battle royale games are announced. I'm just like, what's the big deal? Like, who cares if there's like a like who cares? At some point, everybody copied Team Deathmatch, right? So
yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense there. It makes sense. So before we move into the next topic, we'll definitely be getting you guys' comments and donations read out and all that stuff. So we'll usually read them out in between when we switch topics. So we're about to switch over to talk about God of War. But before we do that, I want to thank Christopher for the $1.99 donation through Super Chat. He said he's on a plane about to take off, donating early. Thank you so much, Christopher. Do appreciate that. And then also Andy Mine, who we just got done playing some PE Arena with and was doing pretty good in Bomberman and also in Mario Kart as well. So shout outs to you, man. And he says, in before 20 Battle Royale games gets announced at E3. Also, OJ, there's something special I want to ask you, and I want to talk about it in private. That's nice. Okay, no problem. We can talk about that later. You can message me. I follow you on Twitter, Andy, so just go ahead and shoot me a DM anytime, man. I talk to lots of people, DMs all the time. So yeah, go ahead and shoot me a DM, and thank you for the $3 donation. I really do appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to move on to the next topic here, guys. We're going to be discussing God of War. And we'll kind of get into what usually we talk about, like what you've been playing and all that stuff, but there was a lot of games that most anticipated and stuff that I think that's going to integrate to what I've been playing. So you can just kind of throw that in if there's like a franchise or if there's something like when we talk about most anticipated, what you want to see, you can kind of throw that in terms of what you've been playing as well. So we're not going to do a dedicated segment on that, and I want to make sure, since we did start up late, I want to make sure that we end on time on this one. So God of War. So God of War launched to big fanfare. Guys, I was at Best Buy, and God of War was like, everyone was buying God of War. Like, all the employees there. It was lunch break time, so there wasn't a ton of people because I went there around midday. But there was a lot of people buying. A lot of people for what you usually see for a game buying God of War. It looks like it's going to do really well. There were a lot of PS4. I saw at least 12 to 15 PS4 Pros with Best Buy tag stickers on them, So it looks like it's going to do really well. Now, I've been playing God of War. And I think it's a very interesting game. The coolest thing that I think so far is that it's very seamless. That's my thing. And I'll talk about it more, but I wanted to rotate to some of the other people here, and I want to get you guys' opinion. So real quick, who's actually played God of War?
The series or the new game?
The new game.
Not me.
I have not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, no problem.
But I watched you play it.
Yeah, no problem. So then that's okay. Then we can just get your impressions. So we'll go ahead and start off with Mama Mercy. And Mama Mercy, what is your thoughts in terms of just by you just looking at the game? How do you feel about God of War so far? And does it pique your interest to potentially buy the game at some point?
Oh, I am definitely getting it, and it is just beautiful. It feels it. I used to live in Colorado, so it reminds me of like wintertime in Colorado. And it's just, I feel like I'm there.
Yeah, the trees and all of the stuff that's kind of going on there, Yeah, I definitely agree.
Everything's very aesthetically pleasing, and nothing looks out of place.
It looks like it was all made, like the artists all like work together as like, they all work, they all put their hands like all in one thing. They're like, all right, let's go, God of War. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like they all really honed in and focused on it because in a game you have multiple artists, right? You guys ever played a game where sometimes like some areas look like, oh my god, that was amazing, then other areas are like, what happened here? Like, and that sometimes can happen when the artists aren't on the same track. You know what I'm saying? Or you have an artist that's much better, than the rest of the cast. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. I definitely agree with you with the art. The art is beautiful. So Itaki, man, what do you think about this game so far? Just by you looking at it at this point.
I think it's the best looking PS4 game I've ever seen so far. Of come out of 5 or 6 years since it's been out. So I think definitely it has that title. I guess the most striking difference to the other ones is the gameplay, because the other ones sort of play like a hack and slash with upgraded abilities, and it was more fast paced. This one's more kind of traditional combat where you have to block and you have to do like a lot of counterattacks. Okay. As we were trying to find out there the other day, where's the block button, man?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing for me, is that okay? So It doesn't tell you the block button, okay? But they just want you to mash the strong attack, because like when you hit the strong attack, that's like a guaranteed for most of the normal enemies at the beginning. That's a guaranteed like bounce, you know, like or like juggle or whatever you want, like a really crappy version of juggle, you know. So that's like a guaranteed juggle. And yeah, we'll definitely get you guys' super chats. Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate it. We'll definitely get that once we move into the next topic. So yeah, that's the thing for me. It was like, I wish they would have just told me about that, because I was playing on the harder difficulty. So like a couple hits from those guys and I was dead, you know? So yeah, man, I just wish they would have just told me more about it, or at least do the whole tutorial right then and there, you know, like just do everything, like do all the basics. But like the tutorial stretched out for a while, you know? The tutorial did stretch out for a while, so I thought that was interesting. All right, man. So let's go ahead and we're gonna move on to Avidan. As far as your impressions, what did you think about it, man? In terms of just like watching the game, because I know you said that you haven't played it yet. What was your impressions?
My first impressions is this just may end up being game of the year, because the same chills and vibes that I got just from watching all of the trailers and the pre-gameplay and even the new gameplay as of yesterday. I am reminded a lot of Breath of the Wild, not so much in terms of mechanics of how the game plays, but just the overall feel of it. It's just so much different than the other games, and that's a common denominator between a lot of Game of the Year games. It's a big franchise game that deviates from the norm, and it does it well. So that's why I see it becoming potentially Game of the Year.
Potentially Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of like, just to kind of go a little bit more on what you're talking about, Avidan, like when you talk about Game of the Year, do you feel that it's, because like you talk about the story and everything, but what do you think that you're most excited? Because like I'm guessing you're gonna play this game at some point, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So like, what do you think you're most excited about so far, that from what you've seen about the game?
Honestly, a mix with you touched on the seamlessness of the game.
Yeah.
But just experiencing the story by itself, it's like the story, it looks like you're seeing a totally different side of Kratos at the same time. Not only are you seeing new gameplay, but you're seeing a different side of Kratos. This isn't the same person that we saw from the first mainline games. Mm-hmm. It's a totally different persona, more responsibility, and it looks like it's one of those games that after you beat it, it's like, are you just going to leave you with this, or is there anything else? So you're going to probably want more at the end. So I just said, usually games like that do really well, just from what I've seen. That's why I said I'm looking forward to just playing the game for the experience itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing for me is like I didn't have the time to play it again since I streamed it last night. I haven't had the time to play again, but I'm like, I want to get back into it. I don't know when I'm gonna have time to. I'm gonna try to see if I can get some time on Sunday, but that's when I go to my mom's house, you know, and like that's where the Switch comes into play, you know, because I'm not gonna lug my PS4 and everything like over to my mom's house, you know. I mean, I could.
I get you,
but I'm not going to do that. So for me, I think. The seamlessness is that's probably the best thing for everyone that's talked about in the chat, because like now they're saying like, okay, well, what do you guys think is better between Horizon and, you know, things like that. Like I think the biggest thing for me, what makes God of War, why Avidan could be right, like in terms of Game of the Year, is the graphics and the story and the seamlessness. It's like on a tech level, it's almost, have we seen a game that looks this good, that's seamless, that has this type of story? I'm not sure if we've seen that combination, you know. And the combat isn't bad. It's just not amazing, you know. It's not bad. And like, and I can totally see some people like looking at the combat and saying this combat is the best, you know. Like I can totally see people that are probably pick up this game and they're like, okay, this is the best combat that I've seen. This is like, oh my god, this combat's amazing, you know. This combat's so good. So I do agree on that front. Like this definitely could be God of War, because like when you talk about, or sorry, Game of the Year. Sorry. It is God of War. Game of the Year. Because like when you talk about Game of the Year, I think graphics play a big part into that.
They do.
Yeah.
And to go from cinema scene to gameplay just like that, as you said, the seamlessness is just incredible.
Because everything looks like a cutscene almost, right? Like,
exactly.
I mean, like the one thing that I noticed with this game, very like it does all of the little like tricks, you know, like when you're playing. The little zooms, the camera pans, like when you fight that, there's the first, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the boss fight that I did, like when I streamed, where like there's like the guy with the beard that you fight, you know? He has
the stranger.
Yeah, the stranger, that guy.
Yeah.
Like that boss fight has so much artificial like food coloring and like just pointless things going on, but it makes it look cool, you know? Like it makes it look cool. The camera, how they change it, how it zooms in, how like it throws you into like that little like crevice that you're in with the rock, and then you have to press like the R3 to break out. It's dynamic, you know? And that's what like a lot of the video game industry wants to see. So I would be very shocked if God of War doesn't win. I would be shocked if it doesn't win Game of the Year. I would be shocked if it doesn't win.
I would too, actually.
I mean, we still have Red Dead, right? Red Dead is still going to be one of those, like, you know, huge.
You have
games.
Red Dead and Last of Us 2.
Well, if The Last of Us 2 makes it.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Yeah, everyone's talking about Spider-Man in here. Everyone's talking about Spider-Man. So I guess we can talk about that, too, before we move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Hold on. I want to add to what Avidan said.
Okay.
One thing that I really enjoyed watching you play the game yesterday is you can tell Kratos is older. This isn't the angry, just like still loves the heat of battle and blood and death Kratos that we got in the first 3 games, who is like angry about his wife and daughter dying, and like he just wanted to kill everything. Again. But in this game, you can tell he's older and grown out of that stuff. Like he will still fight you, but he's not as much inclined to do it. He's like, more in control of himself.
Absolutely. You make a really good point about that, because there's no way that you would punch Kratos and then he'd still let you walk away. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
In the old games.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Kratos got punched multiple times and he like pretty much told the guy, you need to go. Like multiple times he's like, go. Like, and the guy punched him multiple times, and then Kratos got mad. And then even after he like slammed him into the ground or whatever, or punched him and threw him into the ground, like he still was like, go. You know what I'm saying? The old Kratos would have just ripped that dude apart, like from the very beginning. So yeah, he's definitely shown some self-restraint, which is, I like that. Like I like the evolution. There's still a lot of unanswered questions though. Like it's like, what has Kratos been doing? Who's chasing him? I mean, in terms of that, but like obviously some people have beat the game, so they know about that stuff. But yeah.
And I might be reading too much in the game, but like a big thing for me that I think you're going to see throughout the game is Kratos' bond with his son.
Exactly.
Because, when they killed the deer, he wanted to like reassure his son, but he pulled back. And I feel like that's like a problem a lot of dads do have. Like
with their sons, or
they don't know how to approach things. And I think this game is going to be showing him growing as a father.
This is I said on
Avidan, you want to speak on that, because I don't have a, unfortunately I don't have a son right now.
No, I just told people one of my friends on Facebook posted that this is to be the perfect Father's Day game, and I said I agree, hands down.
I 100% agree too.
Hands down, be the perfect Father's Day game. It's the one line that he said to his son in the beginning. I was like, dag. I said they started off early. He said, "Don't be sorry, be better." I'm like, Father's Day lessons out the gate?
Yeah, like there's never been more of a dad statement.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if I'd ever got to that point with my dad. He just be better. Not sure if there was ever like, you know, don't be sorry, like, you know, that point to at least soften the blow. So I mean, yeah, but either way, I love it. I love that aspect about God of War. Another question that I want to ask you guys, since we're on the topic of God of War, do you guys think, people have been talking about this? I guess this is the age-old question with Nintendo, right? It's like, should Nintendo make a game like this cinematic storytelling type, like the way that God of War is? I mean, obviously Nintendo doesn't have anything like God of War, right? In terms of the way that they do things, in terms of just the game in general. Maybe they have games that are cinematic and story experiences, like Fire Emblem, for example. Xenoblade has some things to where it kind of reminds me, like in terms of the cutscenes and stuff like that. But nothing quite like this. Do you think Nintendo should make a game like this?
Absolutely.
I think Nintendo's fine being just Nintendo.
Okay.
I would say absolutely, in the sense that adding to your repertoire of what kind of games you have is not going to hurt you, because everyone knows we know what we're going to get from Nintendo. Nintendo simply adding to that, I would say it would just bring more people, more of an audience that would say, hey, I can get this from Nintendo too, and get Nintendo IPs along with other games they like.
Agreed. Yeah. What about you, Itaki? Just real quick to kind of get Itaki's opinion on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think, Itaki?
Would they have to make a console that powerful, or just something like within the Switch's limits? That's what you mean, right?
Within I mean, the style of game, that God of War is. Yeah.
Maybe looking to doing something like that. And they did not have a shooter until Splatoon, and that worked out pretty well. So I can't see why they wouldn't have success with a game like God of War, something like some kind of Roman god or whatever, because this is more like a Greek thing, or or the other mythologies, but something like that. I guess they have like the Kid Icarus series, which sort of fits into that mold, but maybe they can make like a really hardcore Kid Icarus game where he's like killing people.
You know what? To be honest, I know that's not. I mean, that's probably won't happen, but I'd be completely down for like Kid Icarus.
They're sort of headed in that direction though, because they're fun at the like adult content, because they got like Galgun 2, and then they localize that Seiren Kagura game, the really perverted one.
That's right up your alley, dude. You gonna play that game?
That's too much for me. Oh man. Like, I will like I do own the first Galgun, like the double piece one, and it's whatever, right? But
you got the pre-ordered special deluxe version, didn't you?
No, I just have the straight version.
Okay. My bad. All right, sounds good. Okay, so we all think, for the most part, I mean, Mama Mercy. I think you wanted to add something to that, Mama Mercy. Go ahead.
I think Nintendo does good at staying a middle ground. That they make games that adults enjoy, but that can also be enjoyed by kids. Like Breath of the Wild had cinematic things, but it wasn't something that was going to take away from the game for a child. They were short, sweet, to the point, and we moved on.
That's true.
My kids have a hard time sitting down watching a movie.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I mean, I think God of War does it really well though, because any of the set pieces aren't super long so far, at least, And
yeah, so far.
Yeah, and anytime that there are set pieces in the game, it's really interesting. Like the encounter with the stranger at the beginning, that was cool. That was just flat. I was like, who is this guy? I was like, he's gonna get. When you first see him, he's like, he's gonna get destroyed. Like you're like, who is this guy? He's gonna get like bodied. But it doesn't. Like I didn't think he was anything special when I first saw him.
Right?
Yeah, I was like, who is this guy? He's about to get. I thought he was just some type of like bum that was like messing with the mom, or something like that, or just like trying to do something stupid. I thought he was like a townsfolk type of guy. I know he had all those crazy tattoos over his body and everything, but at the same time, I didn't think he was anything special. So, and that was interesting to see what happened there. And everyone was like, "Oh, get ready, OJ, get ready, OJ." I'm like, "Okay, get ready for what? This dude? Like, okay, get ready for what?" And then all of a sudden, I think he did he punch Kratos to like over the house, or he like threw Kratos over the house or something like that? And I was like, "Oh!" And I think you can watch the replay. I was like. Like the area like sucked out of like my lungs. I was like, okay, this guy's like hardcore. So I mean, like stuff like that was really cool, So yeah, I mean, it is one of those things. So let me go and get a couple comments in here. Let's get some integration from the stream. We're about to move on to the next thing. So I'll read some of the donations. And then I'll get into some of you guys' comments too that I saw you guys. And if we have any talking points, then we'll discuss on that. So shout outs to Diehard Gamer Bros who donated $4.99 through Super Chat. Thank you so much. Also Agent Kuato who donated $1.99 through Super Chat as well. Says, boy, on my mark. That aside, game is amazing. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that, Agent C. Then also Fury Tiger hitting us with a $1 donation through Streamlabs. Thank you so much, Fury Tiger. And he says God of War is good, is good looking game, but I'm not gonna buy it. Smiley face. So good stuff, guys. Good stuff. All right. So I did see some of I'm a FNT Rex says you're limited on where you can really go in God of War. So yeah, I mean it's not a game that's going to. I mean, well, there's like a hub area ish, but it's not a game that you're gonna like explore like Horizon. It's not an open world game. That's not what they're aiming for. That's not what they're aiming for. They're aiming for a guided experience. They're aiming for like a little bit of like exploration to where you can get some like extra pickups and stuff. And that's fine. I don't think every game has to be open world, So
right.
Are you guys concerned about that at all? Like with the whole like how linear maybe it is, or are you guys concerned about the type of game God of War is, or do you think it's fine for this style? Like, what do you think, Mama Mercy?
I admit I have not played all of the God of War games, but I'm okay with it. And the ones I have played, it's that same linear style.
Guys, we'll get into Q&A at the end. We're gonna this one's gonna be a little bit shorter than what we usually do, just because we started up a bit late and I don't want to take up the day for them, and I have some other stuff that I got to do as well. But at the same time, so we'll get into Q&A at the end. Hold your questions for the end, and we'll get into that. I want to take another. I saw another good comment here too. And Tyler Lamore says God of War is amazing. So yeah, it is. It definitely is amazing. Let's see here. Bernhardt, who was supposed to be on the podcast with us, but apparently I think the link didn't work. So we'll get you on next week, dude. And he says, I'm wondering if this game would make such an impact if it wasn't God of War, but a new IP. What do you guys think about that? That's an interesting question, Avidan. What's your thoughts on that?
Probably not, to be honest with you, because I feel as though is running off the train of God of War. Most of us thought God of War was over with after 3. So the talk of getting a new game, it stirred up the hype train. The name, I'm not gonna lie, the name along with the changes is what's selling this game right now. But if a new IP was to do this, because it has so many other elements, I don't know. Maybe if it had the same storyline, maybe. But I'm half and half on that question, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. As I'm talking, I'm thinking about it, I'm half and half on that one.
Okay. Itaki, what do you think?
You kind of already have the built-in fan base with the series as popular as it is, so I would think it would not sell as well as it probably has. So it's definitely an advantage to have a pre-existing fan base. Although I think it would sell pretty well just because it's a great game, visually, and the gameplay is at least serviceable.
Yeah. Just to add to what he said, that's the reason why I thought about it. The reason why I stopped myself is because of Horizon Zero Dawn and how well that game sold. So that's why I didn't want to just rule it out entirely, because that game sold well. In fact, I just bought the game. Well, my wife got it for my birthday. I just got that game today in the mail. So
I think God of War is gonna blow. I think God of War might blow the sales of Horizon Zero Dawn out.
Definitely.
Yeah, what we're seeing here. And God of War reviewed a lot. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn reviewed awesome. Obviously, I mean, I have the complete edition myself. You can see all these great scores. But if you notice, they kind of put some weird. They put PS Lifestyle and PS Universe on the box cover. they put a couple of PlayStation sites on them. They had IGN, they have Giant Bomb, they have Nerdist. But they put some, because Horizon Zero Dawn didn't review great everywhere. It has an 80-something average. Still good. God of War is 95. So this is actually, I mean, in the world of when you're talking getting to 90 plus, a 90, an 88 and a 94, 95 is a big difference. Now an 82 and an 85 or 86, not that much of a difference. That's but if you're going once you get to the 90s range, if your game is an 88 and if your game is a 90 something, then that's when really it gets into the potential best game of all. You've seen people best game of all time, one of the greatest games ever. If you're in that range, and that's where God of War is right now, and it's in that 90s range. That's hard. I mean,
that's very hard.
It's very hard to get into 95. I mean, even to get above I would say to get above a 93, 92, that's hard. Smash Brothers didn't even get that, and so.
My fault.
Oh, go ahead.
To add to what I want to add to what you're saying. What you say, I want to add some context to what you're saying, because Breath of the Wild just did 97. So to add some context to what you're saying, it's that's how hard it really is.
Agreed. It's not easy. So the fact that God of War got to, and Horizon Zero Dawn's an amazing game, and I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't at least a 90. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't at least the fact that it was an 80 something. But I mean, I can see, depending on some of the reviews that I've seen, I'm okay, I can understand. But even Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2 is probably the greatest action game of all time, right? Or greatest stylish action of all time. And that's 90. That's a 90, and that's Bayonetta 2. So it's tough. It's not easy. So shout outs to God of War. Great game so far. I can't wait to play more of it when I get some more time. Some people are asking about some other stuff in terms of what Nintendo could do to turn into God of War. Some people are saying, okay, well, what about Eternal Darkness? Maybe they turn that into some type of game that's like God of War. So maybe they do that.
That'd be a good title to do it with.
Yeah. Just a quick question. Where do the other God of War games rank as far as their average scores?
Low 90s for the first couple God of War games. Let me go ahead and pull it up on Metacritic. low 90s, or even worse.
Yeah, definitely
yeah.
not as high.
Yeah, let me go and pull it up. I'm pretty sure. Avidan, you looking it up too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and. All right, so yeah, I got a. So yeah, low 90s, like I said. So God of War 3 got a 92. Now the other God of War games though, God of War on the original God of War 94.
90. Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, got a 94. So the series has always done pretty good. But the original God of War, it was like God of War 2 has a 93. So the main line entry to God of War games have always been high ranking, but like even like a 92 to a 95, that's hard, you know, because you have a lot of these sites that that do like stars too. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get a 4 out of 5, you're screwed. Like you know what I'm saying, guys? Like,
and you're going 8 years on top of it. This is an eight year from a mainline game.
Yeah. And the longer the franchise has been around, the harder it is. But I mean, obviously, this franchise has had its like its dips, right? Like Ascension, you know, not very good. You know, Ascension, not very good. The PSP games were okay, but they just weren't. Yeah, like God of War Ascension is an 80. You know, so definitely not good at all for that one. Well, I mean, the game is okay. The gameplay's still okay. It's just not up to the level that people were thinking. Excuse me, that it was going to be. So it is what it is. In my opinion, in terms of would this game sell as much, or would this game get as much notoriety if it wasn't named God of War? Of course not. You know, like what if the new Mario game? What if it wasn't named Mario? What if it was named, I don't know, like just some other type of game? But it was like
Hummer Odyssey or something like that.
Yeah, just something else. You know, like
not nearly.
It would no. 10 million plus people would have bought it if it wasn't Mario.
No.
Like, they want to see the Mario when the IP comes. They want to see like the themes, the characters, the stuff that they know. You know, like so. Yeah. It's not gonna get to that level. So yeah, I agree with you, Bernard. I agree with you there. So,
and that's
go ahead.
That's the problem with Metacritic and other sites like that, because it's an aggregate, right? Numbers mean different things to different people. So it started like, you know. It's hard to get if you give it 4 out of 5 stars. How does it translate to other reviews? So that's always.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to the next topic here. I want to leave good enough time to where we have a Q&A. We're already at 40 minutes here, so this is already kind of going. It looks like it just felt like we just started. I was super nervous about this podcast right now. I was really nervous, but we got everything going. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to E3. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the main topic here before we get into Q&A. E3, most anticipated. What do you guys expect? So let me go ahead and update that on here. But I'm gonna go ahead and add Avidan, E3. Or actually, no, Avidan. Let's start with Mama Mercy. E3, most anticipated. What are you expecting? What would you like to see?
My most anticipated is Bayonetta 3.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Nice.
Woman power.
Girl power. Let's go.
I'd like to see Pokemon. I'd like to see Animal Crossing.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is going to be at E3, but I'm really looking forward to the new Darksiders game.
Ooh, yeah. That should be at E3. Oh, no. Actually, no. THQ Nordic said that they weren't going to be at E3. THQ Nordic said that.
They don't want to miss the World Cup. That's the reason.
They don't want to miss the World Cup.
I laughed when I saw it. I'm like, yes, sports is more important than games.
Yeah, so that's not happening there. So maybe, probably no Darksiders 3.
Oh, and I want to see an announcement for Dragon Age 4.
That's from EA, isn't it?
Dun, dun,
dun.
Okay, no, yes, I agree. EA is horrible as a company, but I do like my Dragon Age.
Scarlet Dream says, "Mama Mercy, LOL, I love you."
I love you too, Scarlet.
All right. So you're looking. So basically, Bayonetta 3 is like your top, most anticipated.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And in terms of Ataki, what do you think, man? What are you most anticipating? I know Galgun 2 came out before E3, so you can't anticipate that. That game's already
I
out.
probably have the same top one as you, which is the the mainline Fire Emblem Switch game, which is supposed to come out this year allegedly. So I hope we see that because we haven't seen anything from it. Yeah, I hope the Pokemon fan too. I'd like to see something like F-Zero, but that may not happen because they seem like they don't care about it anymore. You know, one of their dead franchises like Golden Sun. I hope the Animal Crossing people get their game because they have been waiting for it for a while. Hasn't even been announced yet, and that will be coming for sure. I don't doubt it because it has done so well, you know, over the years. And the what's it called? The Animal Crossing phone game is their best. I think their best mobile game so far. So I'm just, it's basically in that order. I hope that we get those things.
Animal Crossing. Okay, yeah, everyone's been talking about Animal Crossing. Like, there's such a underground fan base of that game. It's like people, like, you don't, I mean, you hear about it, but then you don't hear about it. But then when somebody like says something like, "Oh, Animal Crossing," like all of a sudden, I'm like, Animal Crossing? Animal Crossing? Did somebody say Animal Crossing? Animal Crossing? Oh, I'm Animal Crossing. I like Animal Crossing. I like Animal Crossing. So it just seems like it comes out of nowhere when people, you know. But I know that the game's huge. Obviously, Animal Crossing New Leaf sold like 10 million units plus. You know. So that's pretty good. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. So what about you, Avidan? What's your most anticipated?
There's actually two games. Smash. I'm looking for that whole Smash invitation. I want to see how the new Smash is, and Pokemon. Those two games.
Yeah, those are the things that I see the most. Okay, just to go over some of you guys' comments to get some integration going in here, guys. Like I see a lot of Pokemon, Switch, and Smash. Agent C says that. Also, we have Fury Tiger also says Pokemon. Pokemon is big. Sombrero Mario says wait, no, he said talk about F-Zero. He said Nintendo's playing with my emotions with F-Zero. So, when it comes to Smash, real quick, because you know I have to follow up with Smash. When it comes to Smash, Avidan, what is your most in terms of like a character? Like, what would you like to see the most in terms of like new characters? I guess we can kind of take the conversation to that a little bit. So, what would you like to see the most in terms of that? Like,
I would like to see a new Final Fantasy character. And since I was playing Final Fantasy 9, I threw out there Amarant. Get a close range melee character instead of a like range based character or sword based. Get enough sword based characters. So get we have enough. Everyone has a sword down.
So you don't want Isaac from Golden Sun. You know, is that what you're trying to tell me? Because I'm
everyone wants Isaac. Everyone wants Isaac.
He uses a sword. He uses a sword. And Isaac, there's no Golden Sun representation.
I mean, okay. If we get Isaac, we have to get Corona. We had to get Corona.
Okay, see, that's true. Corona needs to be. He also uses a sword.
With a new Golden Sun.
We got to have both. We got to have both.
Yeah,
but
go to name some. If some other characters that you'd like to see too, just go ahead and name off some other ones that you'd like to see.
Let's see. Well, in that case, definitely Isaac, definitely Corona. You know what? I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna say Goku.
Why?
There is an option for me to kick somebody from this podcast, so let me click on Avidan's name.
Has that name?
Let me click on eject. No, I'm joking. They can actually see me hover over the eject button. See, guys, I'm hovering over the eject that you guys can see live. Should I do it?
Okay, well, hold on. Before we eject him, do you have a good argument for why?
Yeah, why do you want to go? Where's Goku's not in Smash 5? Where there's a guy that his name is Goku's not in Smash 5. Like,
seriously, you know, all jokes aside, like put out the overpowering, like let's make him more, let him fit into the Smash world. You know, one thing I'll say about any type of fighting game, they are as good as they are written for their franchise. So Goku is as strong as he is in this franchise. But if you look at, let's say Dragon Ball Fighters, right? They all lost their powers. So Nappa is as strong as Goku. So from that perspective, I would say if you put Goku in Smash Brothers, it would still make sense. Of course, he can't fly. Like he can only use his jump attacks. In the Dark tournament, he couldn't even fly anyway in that whole tournament. So.
Well, yeah.
Those are my arguments.
Yeah, well, yeah. The thing about it is like all of Smash Brothers, obviously, they're all moderated for like. I mean, like, let's take a look here. The Villager. The Villager is not someone that can fight. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
But he's in there. He's in there. Like, I mean, Princess Peach, she can, but Princess Peach does not have the type of strength that she
She's
has.
been doing it since Mario RPG, man.
Yeah, I mean,
She has
the
the
OG.
best strength. She's got the booty strength.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But I mean,
she's an OG.
but like in her series, she gets bodied by Bowser every time. She like gets snatched up and like she can't. But in Smash Brothers, she can knock the crap. I mean, she's actually well. Some people say that she's not better. I think she's a higher tier than Bowser in terms of power. Like who's a better character in the game? I think Peach is better. So in Smash Brothers, she can fight just fine. You know, so everybody has their like they would obviously like assimilate Goku to whatever it was. You know, like and even if like you look at it like the only character that I would say
it's
is
focused
like,
on me right now.
Oh, what's up?
It's focused on me right now. The cold camera.
oh yeah. Oh, it's just on you because I accidentally I clicked it. So I'll go and do that. So sorry about that. So if I click each one of these, I can actually focus on someone. And so I wanted people to see your face, Avidan, when they with your Goku predictions. No, but to be honest, like the only character that I would think in Smash Brothers that actually her power is like almost assimilated to like Smash Brothers is like Bayonetta. She's literally almost as strong. she's literally almost as strong as she is in like in her franchise in Smash Brothers. That's how good she is in the game. And I would say Cloud to an extent. Like both of those characters are very, very good in Smash Brothers and have so many other tools that a lot of the other characters don't have. But they always do a good job of you know, assimilating the characters and making them to make sure that they can, you know, fight. I mean, there's other characters in the Smash Brothers that have like no business fighting too. That's like you wouldn't think that they'd be as strong, but they make them stronger. They try to balance things out. I mean, so it all works. It all works out. When it comes
You
to
don't mess with the witch.
Yeah, man, you don't. They need to nerf. They need to nerf the witch. Please nerf her. She's ridiculously good in Smash Brothers. I just want to see her just get toned down just a bit. That would actually help the competitive scene.
It would.
Yeah, it would really help the competitive scene. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the E3 predictions. I think Itaki, did we get to you, or who did we miss? Did everyone go over their E3 predictions? I think we got everybody. I think I didn't talk about mine. So basically, E3 predictions, or most anticipated. Most anticipated for me, Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem is the game that I want to see. I made a video about it. Fire Emblem, and more Fire Emblem. And another example that Amiibo fan was trying to talk about is Game & Watch. Game & Watch and Duck Hunt Dog. Duck Hunt Dog, to be exact. Duck Hunt Dog has no business hitting anything. Yeah, and Duck Hunt Dog is a character. Although Duck Hunt Dog does suck in the game. He's not a very good character. He can be very annoying, though. You can beat people if you don't know the matchup. You can win with Duck Hunt Dog if you just don't know how to play against them at high level play. But for most Duck Hunt Dog's horrible. For me,
Game & Watch is perfect.
Game & Watch is not good at all too. But
perfect troll character.
Yeah, he's a troll character. He's not. Game & Watch isn't good. I mean, you can use him. But he's not a very good. I don't think he's not a great character, but he's definitely a troll character because he has like random like the 9, you know, like the different like hammers.
I actually retired somebody in Brawl with him.
Really?
Like literally, I got to tell you this. Like literally, we was in college, and we was playing Brawl. I hit him 3 times in a row. 3 stocked him
with the 9.
Yeah. 3 stocked him. He walked out my room, cursed me out. He said, "I'll never play this game ever again." Walk out. He literally walked out my room and walked back across campus to his room.
Oh man, yeah, that's not good. I only had one similar thing to where like I kept on trolling one of my roommates. He's like, "Stop grabbing me." You know, he thought grabs were cheap, and I was like, "Okay." And I just kept on grabbing him, and then he never played after. I just kept on grabbing him over and over, and like he'd like grab release, and then grab. He was horrible, and I just grab him again, and then grab release. And so then the whole match was just me grabbing him, and then grab release, and grabbing him, and grab release. Which I didn't realize that. So there's a lot of people that play Smash Brothers more casually that don't like grabbing, you know. So it is what it is. But
I have one question to ask about one character because I never saw her get used in my house. Wii Fit Trainer.
She can be.
I like Wii Fit Trainer. We'll go ahead, Itaki.
Yeah, like I have used her against some of my friends, and she's like, she's crafty. There's some things you can do with her that they don't expect. So that's why I like her.
She's a matchup character, if you know the matchup, you can if you're a better character, you can probably beat that Wii Fit trainer. I used to use Wii Fit trainer as my main, but I realized that she has way too many, or she or he actually has way too many weird things about her. And like you have the type of game that you have to play with Wii Fit trainer to be good is that you have to play a bit campy, a bit like hands off, like a bit like, you know, like on the ledge and stuff like that. So I mean, she does a lot of weird things. But I mean, overall, like I said, it's you can win. You can win. She's not horrible. You know, you can win with her. The best Wii Fit trainer that I know is a guy named. You guys should all know this guy. His name is John Numbers. He's the guy that won the Nintendo World Championship, the first time, or not the very back in the day, but like you know when they brought back the Nintendo World Championship, he won that one at E3, and then he was in the final at the last Nintendo World Championship that they had, but he lost. So he's the best Wii Fit trainer that I know, and he's not like super high up on the PR like rankings or anything, but he's really good though. He's really good though. So yeah, good stuff. So yeah, in terms of my most anticipated would be Fire Emblem, and what I want to see out of Fire Emblem is I want to see what they do with like I want to see the graphics. I mean, I want to see how it looks. Like, how is this game going to look? Like, because they teased me. They said this game's going to have beautiful graphics. So I was like, what?
Oh, I know.
I was like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean it's going to have, like, Fire Emblem? I'm so used to Fire Emblem. Like, Fire Emblem games look horrible. Like,
well, because they've been on handhelds most of the time, right? And the standard right now is on the Wii, right? Which is it's Radiant Dawn, right? Yeah, that's the Wii one.
Radiant, yeah,
which I do have a physical copy of that game. It's worth a lot if you have it.
Yeah. But that doesn't even look that good though. Even for GameCube and Wii, that didn't look that good, you know?
Yeah.
So I want to see what it looks like. That's the most. I want to see what the new Fire Emblem looks like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think we all do.
Well, Agent C says Fire Emblem Switch will have similar graphics as Xenoblade 2. I don't think so, because the art styles are different, you know? They have a very like Xenoblade 2 has more of a blocky kind of art style, whereas Fire Emblem has more of like a traditional like hardcore like anime art style. Like you can tell in like the cutscenes, you know, like you can tell like the art is different in the cutscenes, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I just don't think it's gonna look like I don't think it's gonna look graphically. I don't think it's gonna look like Xenoblade. I don't think the area is gonna be as big. They can actually make the game look a lot better than Xenoblade. They should be able to, you know, if they're making a traditional Fire Emblem experience, you know.
Right.
So yeah. Does anybody else have any more most anticipated that they want to talk about before we move on to user questions and wrap this one up?
I would say this is just requesting a game that I would like to see. And it's just me just dreaming. I want to see a new Def Jam Vendetta.
Ooh, Def Jam. That's old school.
I want to see a new Def Jam Vendetta.
Okay.
Been too long.
The only people who ask for Def Jam Vendetta are the people who grew up in our age.
Well, that's me. I did play that.
Yeah, they're the only. There's nobody else that wants. If you're younger than that, you don't want to play that game. If you're older than our age bracket, you don't want to play. There's only a few selects. If you graduated high school around maybe 2000, anywhere from 2003 to 2006, those are the only people who want to say play Def Jam, because Def Jam Icon killed that franchise. Absolutely killed, and nobody was upset too. After they're like, oh, we're done, everyone was like, all right. So all right, it never comes back. So go ahead.
I've got a couple more. This is kind of dreaming too, but another Star Wars Rogue Squadron game. Oh, that would be nice.
That'd be good.
Yeah, because that company's back now from the dead. Factor 5 that made them. They actually came back. Oh yeah, I didn't hear that. The same guys got back together, and I think they're trying to get things together now. But they said that yes, we're back to the company.
Are they a skeleton crew like Silicon Knights though? Remember with what's his face?
I don't know. It's like the original crew that made up that company, because they made a lot of games. Like they made I think what killed them was like they made a PS3 launch title called
Lair. Yeah.
And it wasn't very good. Yeah. And people were hyping it up, but then they closed after that. Then also the second one would be like a Fire Pro Wrestling. I would want that on the Switch. That would be nice, because that's a good wrestling game. I like the one on the Wii.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. Mama Mercy, you have any other anticipated, or you good?
Well, if we're talking about dream games, my dream game would be a new Rune Factory.
Ooh, yeah. Well, wasn't there going to be a new Rune Factory or no? I might think of Harvest Moon or something like that.
There's a new Harvest Moon, but
Okay.
Rune Factory is far superior.
Okay. So I see that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move into the Q&A section. If you guys have questions, please go ahead and boot them up, load them up there in the chat. We'll be more than happy to answer them. Also, shout outs to Chris Lewis, who hit us with the $10 donation through Super Chat and says, "What up? What's up, Chris? How's it going, man?" You guys remember that commercial before we get into some of these questions? Remember that commercial was like a bunch of comedians that they're like, "What's up? What's up?" You guys remember that commercial at all or no?
It's okay, OJ. I'm gonna make you feel old. Do you remember when they did that with Men in Black? For like the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah.
Way back.
Yeah, that was
like the white version of that, like the four rich guys.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, good stuff. So okay, we're going to move on to questions here. Let me go ahead and change this real quick. And Avidan, you want to see if you can take a question real quick for me, man?
Let me see.
You have the chat up?
Yeah, I'm looking for the questions. Hold up.
Redskin fan understands me.
EA needs to lose the Star Wars right through the games, or did they lose it already? Basically I'm asking, did EA lose their rights to Star Wars yet?
No.
No, they didn't.
No.
Nope. No, nothing there. So user questions are going on now. And if you just joined in, user questions. So go ahead and ask away, and I'll point out one, and I'll try to see if we can kind of get you guys' questions in. So Scarlet Dream, shout outs to Scarlet. Yeah. Appreciate that, Scarlet. And she says, Player Essence, what old NES title would you like to see remade? Old NES title. I would love to see if they made like a fully realized remake of the original Final Fantasy. Sign me up for that. Like, I would love to see that, or like a full remake of the original Mother game.
That'd be dope.
That would be really cool. So Final Fantasy or the original Mother, or something like that, as far as an NES game, fully remade, brand new graphics, completely, like, pretty much a whole different game. You know, like I would love to see that. But the original Final Fantasy would be interesting. That's what I'd like to see the most. Is there any other games that you guys would like to see? Like, if you guys can pick one NES game, like, is there anyone that you guys think that you guys would like to see, or
Link to the Past?
That's not an NES
game. That's
Super
NES.
Oh. My bad.
How about Zelda 2? Because that game people don't like that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say that. That was actually the one I was gonna pick. Zelda 2 is actually one of my favorite Zeldas. One of the harder Zelda games, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's side scrolling, and that's the whole is that the I Am Era one, or is that the first game?
It's
no, that's the I Am Era. Oh wait, no, that is the that's the first game. That's the first game of the NES is the I Am Era.
Yeah, this is like Zelda 2 is also post-apocalyptic, kind of like Breath of the Wild, so it'll fit well.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question here. We have I can't try to see the questions here. Or Mr. Nickel. Or actually, no, we're going to go with Lucina first, then Mr. Nickel. He says, where is my Ace Attorney announcement? E3 maybe? Yeah, I think E3. E3 is a safe bet. Or Nintendo Direct, like after E3. But I mean, they did say that there's Ace Attorney games coming. So, yeah, like E3.
Yeah.
Let me get another question in. Says Mr.
I'm looking forward to that.
Mr. Nichols says, Player, since you guys think Game Freak will have a Pokemon Switch Direct before E3 since they like to do their own thing? No, I don't think so. But what do you guys think?
Not really, because that was the last time we heard something about Pokemon. Even they usually wait to E3, and then sometimes a little bit after E3. So I would say we're not going to hear nothing until E3, especially since E3 is less than 2 months away. It's like they might as well wait at this point.
Okay.
I mean, I think it could be possible so Pokemon and Smash don't overlap each other.
Okay.
Because I feel like we're going to get some Smash info at E3.
Yeah, I mean, but E3 is all about the multiple big games, though. Like E3 2014, there was like Zelda, there was Smash, there was like a bunch of stuff at E3 2014. Hyrule Warriors, there's just like Bayonetta 2. Yoshi's Woolly World. Like there was just they were even talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X too a little bit. So there was just like a ton of games, like big games too, you know. So I mean, you never know, you never know. But yeah, I see what you're trying to say though, Mama Mercy. I see what you're trying to say.
Right.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next question here. Sean Diamond, shout outs to Elite Ninja, my boy, and shout outs to all the Elite Ninjas in here, the Jonins. Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate that. Sean Diamond says, do you think we will get a Xenoblade Chronicles export announced at E3 or anytime soon for 2019 release? So I don't think we need to all talk about this. Who likes Xenoblade Chronicles X a lot here? And we'll let you answer that question. You too? Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with Itaki. Go ahead and give your thoughts, and then Avidan, you can go ahead and give your thoughts, then we'll move on to the next question.
Yeah, I think they will port it just because it's another Wii game that they can get more, they get more sales from. They can milk it, if you want to put it like that. Because they did the same with all the other games. They didn't have the install base is bigger than it was on the Wii U at any one point now and growing. So they would probably do themselves some favors by porting it over because it probably wouldn't cost that much, and the amount of sales they would get would be more than worth the effort, I think.
Okay, Avidan.
One thing I would say about Xenoblade Chronicles X, it was one of the greatest, but one of the most heartbreaking games for the Wii U because you had to use the gamepad for that game. And I feel as though remastering it and porting it over to the Switch would do the game proper justice for those who not only missed out on it on the Wii U, but for those who had it on the Wii U could get the experience that they truly desired in the first place.
Yeah, it's a little tough because of how much stuff there is to do. In that your Wii U gamepad is constantly dying. Unless you have it plugged in, you know, it's constantly dying in that game because there's so much stuff going on that gamepad, you know. So it doesn't even last as long as it normally would last on different games because there's just a lot of stuff. That game is just a taxing game in general. So yeah, I agree. I think it would that and like we talked about a little bit before the stream Tokyo Mirage session, you know, beforehand. So yeah, man.
I would like to see those games ported just because I missed them on the Wii U. I didn't get to play them, and I'm all for ports.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to see it too. So we're going to get on to the next question here. Let me see. I think the next one would be T-Dude. And he says, question, what do you guys think of the controversy behind the release of Night Trap 25th Anniversary Edition on the Switch coming this summer? Well, I don't think there's any more controversy anymore, but like the fact that I mean, there was, I guess it was controversial when it first launched, you know, and like what was going on with that game. So does anybody here know about Night Trap or like Night Trap?
No.
Okay, so let me give you guys just a little bit of a background on this. So back in the day, before like the ESRB came and all that, like the government like subpoenaed like video game makers and like big publishers and all that about you guys are spreading these pornographic games, you know, to kids. And Night Trap had like a bathroom scene where it was fully clothed, no nudity or anything, but like that was a problem, you know.
Wow.
So they were like subpoenaed to come to court, kind of like how Zuckerberg is being questioned, you know, in court right now. It's the same thing, but back then, and it was Nintendo of America, Howard, what was his name? Howard whatever his name was, that guy. And he was like, and he said this at that meeting with Congress. He said, Night Trap will never make it to a Nintendo system. Like, it'll never be on a Nintendo system. And then it came to a Nintendo system. And on top of that, when this game was first being brought back, the developers didn't want to put it on a Nintendo system because they were still bitter. All those years back, they were still bitter about what happened with Nintendo because Nintendo shifted all the blame to them and tried to make it seem as if they were the problem, you know. So all those years later, they were still bitter. So we're not going to bring it to the Wii U, you know. So that's where I think that's where you talk about the controversy. There's no controversy now. At this point, it's like, okay, it's coming this summer. But yeah, that's what this game is about. It's an FMV game, guys. It's like it's like it uses real actors. Like super. You guys ever seen like Super Seducer? You know, yeah. It's like that kind of, you know, like
cringy and pickup artist douchebag.
I thought that would be your I thought that would be your most anticipated game. Itaki?
They're the scum of the earth. But like, did anybody here own a Sega CD at any point in your life?
No, but I played it. I
actually have.
You owned it?
Yeah, we actually owned one. In fact, the game that I remember the most was The Adventures of Willie Beamish, something like that.
That doesn't sound fun at all. I'm sorry. Is it fun?
It was hilarious. It was hilarious as a kid.
Okay.
That's not to say.
An AVGN fan would probably know that game, and plus all the other ones that were on there. Like there was Corpse Killer, Ground Zero Texas, the Sewer Shark game are some of the more famous FMB games.
In the chat, they say it's Amiibo fan says Howard Lincoln. So yeah, that's his name was.
I said Howard.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear you. Okay, yeah, so Howard Lincoln.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So Howard Lincoln. Okay, so that's Night Trap, guys. I think we spent more time on Night Trap than we even should have. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Let's see here. You guys are talking to other people. Let's see if I can get another question. Somebody said they spotted a Toby. Messages got deleted. Oh, the life of a YouTuber.
Yes, it is Q&A already.
Yes, Q&A. User questions. We did start up a little bit late, and I didn't want to take up all of my guests' day, and I have to also be on the SpawnCast later tonight. So that's the reason why we're already into Q&A. But usually we'd go a little bit longer. We're gonna go about 1:30. So we got a good enough time for for questions. Let me see if I can get through some of these though. If you guys have a question for me, please tag my name. It's supposed to come up in orange, but I don't know why it's not. So I don't know what the deal is. Okay, M. Williams says, Player Essence, does Nintendo's policy on game announcements need to change? Should a third party be allowed to talk about a release date games outside of directs? So I don't think the problem with this question is that it's assuming that you know Nintendo's policy on announcements. It's assuming that you know Nintendo's policy. Nobody knows Nintendo's policy on announcements. Third-party developers, if they're going to announce a game for the Switch, they probably want to do it at a direct. So I would think that a lot of third-party developers want to get into direct. So they might hold back their own announcements. I don't think Nintendo's saying, you announce a game at our direct. You do it. You know, if a developer wants to announce a game, they do it whenever they want to. Obviously, there's game announcements all the time for Switch from independent developers. So I don't think that there's any type of, thing that's holding them back or anything like that. There's nothing like that. So I don't know Nintendo's policy for third-party announcements, and I don't think their policy, it doesn't need to change because I don't know their policy at all. I don't think there really is any real policy. I think, if anything, third-party developers want to get in on a Nintendo Direct. Like, that's where you want to be, right? Like, you're going to have tons of eyes on your game. It's going to be part of the rotation and all the views that people say, like, if you have a game. So it's a good thing to be part of a Direct. I mean, could they have announced South Park last year? Yes, they could have announced South Park last year. Is it better for Ubisoft to probably say South Park is coming in a Nintendo Direct? Yes, it's better for Ubisoft to say South Park is coming in Nintendo Direct. So I think it's up to the publisher. Yeah, I think it's up to the publisher on that one. But if you guys have anything to add, you can, and I'll find another question.
Well, I mean, I agree with OJ. Did you see how much the internet got lit on fire in January when we thought there was a Direct coming?
Exactly.
Yeah. All eyes was on there, when it comes to the directs. So, so I don't think Nintendo needs to change their policy, but whatever their policy is, but it's just how it is. Like, when it comes to Nintendo, and it won't change until Nintendo cools it on third parties. Like, Nintendo cools it on their own first party, and they make it more about third party, and that's never going to happen. So directs are always going to be where third party developers are going to want to announce their games, because every game that was announced within that Smash Brothers Direct, remember the Smash Brothers announcement, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Every game that was announced in there yes, Smash got a lot of focus, but when people were doing their recaps, a lot of people went over games that they might have not even talked about, So it's a marketing PR type of thing. It's like, okay, well, if we can get our game in the same one as Smash Brothers, like, for example, I can give you guys another example of this. Like, remember EA when they put out their roadmap and like, hey, we're announcing this game at the Nintendo Direct. Cool, huh? So like, what was that game, Fee?
Yeah.
They wanted it to be announced in the Nintendo Direct. They wanted it to be put in there. So, and they put it on their roadmap. They could have announced the game when they felt like it. It's an independent game. Lots of developers do, but that's just how it is. That's just how it is. So. All right, so let's go and move on to the next question here.
Scarlet Dreams question.
Oh, what'd you say?
Scarlet Dreams had a question.
Oh, go ahead and read your question. You can.
She said, "This goes to the whole cast. What was the one game that got you hooked on video games?"
Mama Mercy, go ahead.
Give me a second. I'm going back. That's been years.
Going back in the day.
Oh, wait. It was actually Pokemon.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because my brothers both had brick Game Boys, the brick ones. And my dad found a Game Boy Color, and he's like, whoever could behave and share with your sister for a week is going to get a surprise. They never shared with me. Ever. So when the end of the week came, he gave me the Game Boy Color with Pokemon Yellow.
Nice.
Wow. Nice.
And I was like, in your face.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool. What about you, Avidan?
Super Mario World.
Nice. Classic 90s kid.
Yeah.
90s kid.
Super Mario World.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you a lie. Actually, no. Take that back. I take that back. No. Super Mario RPG was the game that got me hooked.
Oh, okay. That's the game that said, you know, I'm gonna play video games probably forever, you know? Yeah?
Yeah, that was the one.
Okay.
That was the one.
Itaki?
It was actually the original Super Mario Brothers, actually.
Oh, okay. The original one back in the day.
And that's, yeah, my father bought it for us, and I just started playing it, and he played it for a while, and he didn't like video games after that, and I never looked back, so that's how that went down.
Nice, okay. For me, the game where I knew, okay, gaming is going to be what I do forever, Super Mario Bros. 3. Like, when I first played Super Mario Bros. 3, I was like, there's infinite possibility. I mean, I played the original Mario Bros. Before Super Mario Bros. 3, but when I played Super Mario Bros. 3, it was like, there's infinite possibilities. Like, I can fly, I can swim through water, you know, I can jump high, like, I can just do all sorts, like, it was just crazy. You know, so for me, it was Super Mario Bros. 3, because, like, the upgrades, the power-ups, the levels, the replay value, it was lit. It was lit before lit was even a thing. You know what I'm saying? It was lit. That's
a classic.
It's so good.
True classic.
It's so, and like the cover, it's like the yellow.
With the yellow.
It's like this just flying. Oh man, it's so good. So when you saw that cartridge, you know it was going down, man. Like, you know, it was literally going down. Like, you have to press down the cartridge. you gotta press down the cartridge. You gotta close the little thing, and then you gotta press the power button. You know, sometimes you have to go.
Oh my gosh.
Blow the cartridge.
You brought back to the old days.
Oh man,
turn to channel 3.
Will never understand, you young kids in chat.
Turn to channel 3.
Like, apparently that didn't really help anything from what I found out later.
No, some of the TVs you have to turn to channel 3 though. Like, you really have to turn to channel 3 for the TV to work.
When you blow in the carts, apparently that doesn't do much, is what I've.
No, it doesn't.
I beg to differ.
You're not supposed to, but it would work sometimes, and you're like, oh, it works.
Oh yeah,
so
I didn't know that connection to it, but like I think like James Rolfe, one of his videos, he mentioned the cat doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, even Nintendo tells you not to do that. Nintendo tells you, like, I have this old school kit. Actually, I want to show you guys. Give me 1 second.
While OJ goes grab something, I also want to add Zelda was one of my games.
For some reason, I still have this kit just out. So this was my old school NES kit from like when I was a kid. And this is how they told you to clean the games. Like, you would stick these little things in there, and you'd put liquid on them, and that would be the way that you cleaned your games, was through these things here. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And this was like an old school.
I didn't have time for that.
This is so old, guys. This is like 30 years old. Don't ask me why it's like right there. No, I'm not feeling any questions why it's right there. It's like literally in hands reach. Just gotta go over there.
Because
look at this stuff, guys. Ultra 2000 video game cleaning solution docs. So this is actually what you were supposed to use to clean.
Yeah, because you're supposed to clean like the connector pins is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The connector pins, you can use them for different, like, they even have, like, it came like with the whole kit. So Super Nintendo, Sega, Genesis, and like these ones are like, you can see here like Sega, Genesis, TurboGrafx, back when TurboGrafx was a thing. You can see nobody ever used it because we didn't have a TurboGrafx. This is literally like a brand new cleaning thing for TurboGrafx, and we didn't have a Sega either. So this is brand new, guys. It's just like super clean. Then like you can see like the NES.
Sell those on eBay. Sell on eBay if you can.
I don't know. It's
And
sentimental
then
value.
remember, I got you.
Yeah, it's sentimental value here because this is like my childhood. Like me and my brother, like
Yeah.
putting this crap on. Like we would put this stuff on there, and then sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. And then once we put this on there and it didn't work, then we'd be like, all right,
I get you.
all bets are off. The cleaning stuff didn't work. We got to do something else, you know. So
I got you.
Oh,
OJ,
man.
I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna make you laugh.
Okay.
My dad got one of those kits at a garage sale, and he's like, "Here, this is for your guys' Nintendo." We had no idea what it was for. It just ended up getting thrown in the trash. He just gave it to us. He's like, "Here, this is for your Nintendo," and gave us no explanation. We're like,
What do we do with this?
"What?"
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I still have this, but I don't know. I think it's just because of the sentimental value. That's the only reason why. Because I just remember so many days of me and my brother. You know, we come home from school and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. What are you doing?" He's like, "Let's play some NES." I'm like, "All right, well, let's try to get it to work first." It's like an old like Model T. You gotta use like the little thing. Like you gotta rev up the engine before you get it going. You know, like so. I don't know. I just thought that was cool. You know, back in the day, like that's how you were supposed to clean the cartridges, not blow on them, but.
Yeah.
It's all good. Everyone's making fun of my age now, and everyone's saying, "Oh, OJ's showing your age now." Yeah, that's old school. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next question here, guys. We still got some more time left. T-Dude has another question. Oh, actually, I already answered one. So from let's go ahead and,
Fire Blast Gaming had one for us.
okay, yeah. Go ahead and can you read that one off, Mama Mercy, if you don't mind?
Player Essence, OJ and crew. Do you think Nintendo will open up another Western studio like Retro? Also, I doubt this, but I think Retro's new game will be revealed. No, will be a rival of their canceled game, Raven Blade.
You know, I don't know about Raven Blade. I'm not. I don't know. I just don't think it is. I mean, but before we answer that question, you know what I do think? I mean, if you guys hit the like button, we have over 100 people watching. If you guys hit that like button, that would be great too. You know, that would also be really good. But what do you guys think? Raven Blade? Any takers on Raven Blade?
Hold on, OJ. I'll tell you guys this. If you hit that like button, I will turn my camera on.
Oh. Oh, how many likes do we need for you to turn your camera on, Mama Mercy?
100.
Wait, no, because your camera's all messed up. So I don't want.
I could be on for 5 seconds.
Okay, that's fine. 100 likes, Mama Mercy. It turns the camera on. Let's do it. So
You already jumped up to 82.
everyone's like, "Oh, we want some Mama Mercy." You know what would be great? Mama Mercy, if you turn on your camera and you have a Toby mask on. So if
Oh, that's
man, that'd have been perfect.
it would have just been like this, and just been like, not only are you having a Toby mask, you just do the stolen pose. So that'd be cool. All right. So what do you guys think in terms of Fire Blasters? What do you guys think? Let's say, what do you think of Retro Studios? Do you think Retro Studios game is going to be there? What do you think they're working on? Any thoughts on that?
Are you talking? To be honest with you, I'm not really familiar with Raven Blade as much.
Okay.
So I really can't have too much of an opinion on that. It's hard for me to even go into having a full opinion on that. So honestly, I wouldn't know to say would be financially feasible for them or not, honestly.
Okay. What do you think is going to be at E3 in terms of, like, do you think they're going to reveal their game at E3, or you think it's going to be some other time?
Probably some other time, probably during their own stream, probably not at E3. I think that'll probably be their own special Nintendo Direct where they will do Nintendo Direct at a different time of the year. But I don't see that happening at E3. Kind of like how Bethesda's revealed Doom and Wolfenstein later in the year. I think we might come into a similar situation like that.
Yeah, because Doom and Wolfenstein was revealed at a Direct.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I
not
feel
at E3. You know.
Exactly. I see something like that happening, but not at E3.
Okay. Makes sense. Itaki?
I kind of hope they're actually making another Donkey Kong platformer like they did with Returns, because that was really good. And we haven't heard anything about a new Donkey Kong. So that would be my hope. I hope it's another shooter as well, because they did really good with the Prime games. Okay. Or it could be something new, for all we know. And they're definitely not doing Prime 4. We know that already. So, you know.
Or are they? No, I'm joking.
Well, they were lying this whole time, right? And they actually I kind of hope they would be doing Prime 4. That would be.
Are you sure?
It'd be a good game.
Are you sure Ubisoft isn't helping them make Prime and all that? You guys hear about those crazy rumors about Ubisoft helping make Pokemon? Oh yeah, people are just reaching to the sky for these rumors, man. It's funny. All right, so I just gotta read a comment here about my age. LOL, OJ be comparing the NES to the Model T. Model T was like one of the first Ford cars, guys, back in the day, where you put the little cranker in there back in the early 1900s. So yeah, it's the Model T.
One of the first mass-produced and heavy number cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw there was a dude in Fresno that had a fully restored, like, old school Ford Model T car. It was like his pride and joy. Never let anybody like get near it. Never let anybody get near it. All right, so let's see here. We're gonna go ahead and get the next. Do you guys see any other questions here?
I actually saw one. I was reading one right before you asked the question.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a quantum. This question for you. It's rumored that Microsoft will unveil a new third-person action reboot of Perfect Dark titled Joanna Dark. What do you think of this potential new direction of the series?
Good. It needs to be a reboot. I don't think it needs to be a first-person shooter. It needs to be a reboot of the series. You need to make it more like Tomb Raider. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it more
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, like make it more like where you like your Tomb Raider, you're upgrading. You know, you learn who Joanna Dark is, like in that world of her, because she's a espionage, she's a spy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's like that. So make it to where first person and espionage like that in my opinion, doesn't work well. You know, it never worked well for who she was, Joanna Dark was. Even though GoldenEye and like Perfect Dark were great. But if they're going to reboot it, yeah, you definitely need to see her. You need to know her personality, and yeah, that would just be so good. The fact that you bring it up, I'm a big Perfect Dark fan. Although I don't like Perfect Dark Zero, that game's trash. But I like Perfect Dark on the 64. It's good. So I would love to see them. I would love to see them do that. That would be really good, and I hope that's true. I really hope it's true. But who would make that? That's the thing. Would that be Rare? I don't know. That's the question. That's the question: is if it would be Rare or not. I don't know who would. Like they're really getting close to that like goal, Mama Mercy.
I know. I saw Itachi and Avidan helping.
Yeah.
The one thing that I want to know is like somebody clicked this. Somebody actually, you know, somebody like disliked the video, but then they took away their dislike. Okay, maybe they clicked on accident.
We won them over.
Yeah, we won them over. I know, seriously. All right, D-Dub says, you got any vids or streaming later, Avidan? So, Avidan, you gonna be streaming later, dude?
Yeah, I am actually. I'm gonna be streaming Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, sweet. Sounds good. If there's any more questions, because it's not an hour 30 yet, so I want to get as many questions as possible. Here's a good one from an Amiibo fan who says, when do you think 20 Switch version will be coming out, OJ? So what he means by 20 is he means the world ends with you. That's just abbreviation for 20 instead of having to say the world ends with you every single time. So 20. And I think 20 is going to be like a November-ish type of release. I think it's going to be in that Q3, Q4 release. I don't think it's going to be summer. Obviously we're already April. We've heard nothing. It could be like just a shadow drop. You know what I'm saying? Like they announced it. Okay, here's E3. Here's more of the game, and then bam, you get it like in June, like end of June, which I guess it's possible, right? I guess it's possible, but you know. It looks like they're talking about your camera here, Mama Mercy. So
yeah, we're at 103.
Face reveal for Mama Mercy. Face reveal for Mama Mercy.
Are you guys ready?
You want any music playing before your face reveal, Mama
Mercy?
Sure.
What a drum roll?
What would you like? A drum roll?
Yeah, drum roll's great.
A drum roll? Okay, so we'll go to I can do a drum roll. I can custom integrate a drum roll. So all right, ready, set, and go.
Hey guys! So this is what Mama looks like.
Although your camera's flickering in and out, it's all good.
I know. I hope it was worth it.
Face reveal for Mama Mercy. Mama Mercy says hi. Everyone's like, hi, Mama Mercy. Somebody said SS or Super Saiyan 3 theme, OJ. like when Goku turned Super Saiyan 3 and he's like, this is what it takes to go even further. He's like, little dude that used to hang out with Majin Buu.
Bobbity.
Bobbity is like, nah, what? Nah!
Liquid Metal, I am mixed. I am black and white.
The Liquid Metal asked that. Where did he ask that? I didn't see where he asked that.
I don't know. I'm watching the chat.
Oh, okay. I missed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, like me.
T-Dude says, beautiful Mama Mercy. So
Yeah. Now you guys all know that I look like I'm 17, but I'm not. And I will take you out.
Hey, nobody definitely wants to take you on, Mama Mercy. You're good.
Especially 5 if he's here.
I learned my lesson with Dragon Age. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut when it comes to this. Learn my lesson. Learn my lesson. So, all right. So let me see here. That's pretty much 1 minute 30. I don't think. Hold up. This Quantum L has one more question, so we'll go ahead and get that question in since we did start up late, guys. Terribly sorry about that. This is Player Essence. It's also rumored that Banjo-Kazooie Anniversary is a remaster of the previous N64 games with new content, acting as a refresh for the series. Do you think this is long overdue? Can they actually? No, they can do that because they did Rare Replay. Yeah, it's long overdue. They should have done that on the Xbox 360. Obviously, like it's long overdue. They only had one game from Banjo-Kazooie, right? Nuts and bolts. So, is anybody here big Banjo-Kazooie fans at all?
Not a big one, but I would definitely play it.
No, yeah.
I'll play it somehow.
Okay.
That's a game I go over somebody's house to play. Come back home after I get my fix.
I know people are a new Conquer game, like the one like Conquer's Bad Fur Day. That's what they really want from Rare in terms of a remaster of their 64 games is the Conquer's game, like that one.
Okay. Mama Mercy, you into Banjo at all?
No, but I know my kids would play it.
Yeah. I've never been big into Banjo. Like, I was not big into the whole platformer revolution on the N64. I don't like the N64, just to let you guys know. So, yeah, I know. I mean, I played it.
I don't either.
Okay.
I don't either.
I played the heck out of it. Don't get me wrong. I had one. I played it. I freaked out when I got one in 1998 for Christmas. I mean, and it's great. There's a lot of great games. Obviously, N64 is great and all that. But looking back, like hindsight, like I probably should have asked for a PlayStation 1. Considering what I like to play,
I know.
Considering what I like to play, I probably should have asked for a PlayStation 1. Because that's where all the look. It's not because I'm some type of like fake or anything like that, guys. It's because all the Super Nintendo developers all went to PlayStation. Right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like Avidan, you know what I'm talking about, right? You're playing the PS1 games and stuff like that.
In fact, key example: Chrono Trigger went to Chrono Cross, PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's a key example right there. Final Fantasy, SquareSoft. Final Fantasy example. Final Fantasy 7. For those of you who don't know, was supposed to be for the next Nintendo console, but because they were still using cartridges, went over to Sony. Mm-hmm. So
everyone knew that.
Yeah. So I probably should have asked for a PS1, and because there were so many times where like I borrowed my friends at times, like there was just so many great RPGs that I missed out on as a kid, and I played them much later, and I'm like, oh.
How did I miss this?
I know, it's like, man, this really could have made summer a lot better. Like, you know, because like N64, it was all like sports and shooting and endless collectathons, you know? Like, endless collectathons, sports and shooting. It was just not my style. Like, I mean, there was, like I said, I played GoldenEye. I played all those games. They were great, but PlayStation 1 just had so many more games that I know would have got me through the summers. You know what I'm saying? Would have got, like, the RPGs that I know I would have liked. So I probably should have asked for a PS1. And then by the time that I got a PS1, it was so, I was already an adult, like, for the most part. Or not an adult, but I was already, like, older and, like, I had stuff to do and there was other things to play. Like, PS2 was out. I didn't make the same mistake, though. I got a PS2 really early. Like, I didn't make the same mistake. I got a PS2 when I could buy it, so I didn't make the same mistake. But yeah. As
strange as it sounds, the 64 was kind of, it turned into more like an American console. So like what the Xbox before the Xbox, because it was full of shooters, like GoldenEye and such. And then it had like a lot of racing games, which again that sounds like Xbox, doesn't it? Right, Forza and everything. But it sold like 20 million units in North America. Surprisingly, like the majority of its sales were here in our area of the world. So it's kind of a weird. It sticks out in Nintendo's history of hardware development because it was so like Western.
It was so Western, yeah. It was like super hardcore Western.
I didn't even think about that until you said it. You're exactly right.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and I noticed it when I was like, when all my friends were like, oh yeah, look at this RPG. Like when Final Fantasy came out, I was just like, I was like, single,
I know.
single tear down the eye, dude.
To RPGs as much as I was now. Back then, I love every shooter under the sun and every racing game in the sun. So that's why me and my friends loved it. And then Smash came out. We love Smash too.
Love Smash.
So
yeah. Smash, like I said, there was great games like GoldenEye. We played Smash. I played like Buck Bumble. I played all sorts of crazy and cool games. Like what's that game? From I think it was Jet Force Gemini or whatever. You guys ever play that game?
Yeah.
I heard of it. I didn't play it. I heard of it though. It's one of the games I missed. Like Quest 64. I missed out on that game too.
Good that I was like, yeah, Quest 64 as a kid, and I was like, Quest never play again.
Star Wars. It had the first entry in the Rogue Squadron was on that on the 64 too. So that's another reason why I liked it too. I'm a big fan of those games.
Yeah, definitely.
I was never a big fan of the Nintendo 64, and the PlayStation 1 will always hold a special place in my heart because that's when my dad realized I was better at video games than my brothers.
Started bodying your brothers in the PS1 era. Nice.
Well, my dad, I mean, as parents were in the 90s, video games were for boys. So, like, all of the game systems were always in my brother's room, and it was always such a war for me to actually play. But then my dad got a PS1 and he was playing Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and he was stuck on a puzzle. And I'm like, Dad, this is what you need to do. And he was like, me and your brothers literally sat here for 3 hours trying to figure this out. You came walking by from the kitchen and knew exactly what I needed to do.
Yeah, that's because you think. For me,
right?
Too, yeah, that's because you're good at thinking. You helped me with my puzzle with Nino Kuni as well. I was like, this stupid thing. How do I? And it wasn't even that hard either. I was like, I hate puzzle. I hate puzzle games. By the way, I can't. It's not that I can't play. I have no patience for puzzle games, or games that rely heavily on puzzles. I don't like them, and that's why I'm not the biggest fan of Legend of Zelda. Before Breath of the Wild. A lot of puzzles and having I just don't I like Legend. I'm obviously Wind Waker is one of my top favorite games of all time. But Wind Waker, you're doing a lot of open it was I think it was less puzzles somewhat. It
was like the prototype to Breath of the Wild, being able to use different weapons and such.
Out kind of just open. It wasn't a real open world game, but it was a simulated open world game. It was you kind of just go you just see towers out there. You just go out there they're shooting cannons at you. Okay, you just shoot back at them. Then you come up to there. You raid their loot. You grab it. And then you go. I mean, that's why I love Breath of the Wild so much because it reminds me of the original Legend of Zelda, which is probably my next favorite. And then Wind Waker, and then Breath of the Wild. Although I like Twilight Princess. I think Twilight Princess is cool. It's not a bad. I like Twilight Princess. It's good. It just took me forever to beat the game just because there was no component cables. You guys remember who got a Wii back when it launched?
I did.
There was a component cable shortage. So if you didn't pre-order them or grab them right then and there, and if you had an HD TV, you would be blurry vision. It would just be completely blurry because I had an HD TV, and yeah, I needed component cables, and it came with a composite. So, and there was a shortage. I couldn't find any, so I had to wait before I really beat that game. We also have a donation from TurboGrafx Jesse, so we'll extend this out a bit more. And he says, shout out to TurboGrafx Jesse. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Really good channel. He just started up, so make sure you guys check it out. And he says, you guys think we can get any type of direct before E3? I think we talked about that a little bit, but does anybody who here actually thinks that there's going to be a direct before E3? Nobody?
Wait, when's E3?
Mid-June.
When was our last one? March.
E3
Don't we get one every 3 months?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it seems like that way, but I don't think that's the deal,
And from now to June 12th, so it's less than 2 months. I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I mean, after for sure.
All I'm going to say is, it's Nintendo. We can whatever we think Nintendo's going to do is going to do the complete opposite. So
she has a point.
Yeah, I mean, what's more likely? We have one more question here that I'm going to answer. So Nintendo or console Brad says, do you guys think that Sega's gonna localize Phantasy Star. So which one's more likely? Nintendo having a direct before E3 or Phantasy Star Online 2 getting localized? Which one is more likely?
As much as it pains me to say this, Nintendo having a direct before E3.
You know what my answer for this one?
Avidan's over here like, gosh, bring up this game.
I did a whole video about this, okay?
I always is like do a parody of that Sega one just for the laughs. You know, just do it like that for fun. Like yeah, we're doing it like Sega because we're too lazy.
I don't understand how much that makes me upset because Sega said they was gonna do it, and out of nowhere they just stopped. But if I had to put if I had to choose between, definitely Nintendo in a heartbeat. I think Sega gave up on localizing PSO2.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to just wait and see. There was one more question.
Yeah.
I'll just say, yeah, I think Nintendo's going to hit 20 million for the year. I think they'll hit it for the fiscal year, definitely. So, yeah, I think so. We've talked about that before. So, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up, guys. I really do appreciate all the support. A lot of you guys came out. We had over 100 viewers pretty much for the whole time for the podcast. So, I'm going to go ahead and do some outros here in terms of things and get some, where you can find them. And we're going to go ahead and start off with Mama Mercy. Mama Mercy, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter.
All right.
And I will start a channel eventually.
one of these days, Mama Mercy will start a channel. So okay. So Itaki,
probably in July.
Okay, July. So look out for that. Itaki, where can they find you, buddy?
I am on Twitter. It's the same as my YouTube name, so just look that up. I'm the only person with that name. There's no numbers in it. I'm also a professional ESL teacher, English second language. So if you need help with your English, just go to my video. There's a link to my profile on the website of the same name as my username, Itaki. So shout out to those guys. Great website. And you can watch my one video, and you can find me on Discord, and yeah, I always answer back. So
he's a mod, and he's also a mod too. So. Always dropping some funny stuff in the chat whenever we have our stream. So good stuff. And Avidan, where can they find you at, my boy?
You guys can find me on Twitter and YouTube at Avidan Smith. So AVIDAN SMITH. And yeah, YouTube, Twitter. I respond to Twitter all the time. Comments on YouTube, respond all the time. So hit me up.
My boy streams a lot too, so definitely gonna be doing. Maybe we can do some more collaborations, Avidan, on your channel too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So
definitely
sounds like it's gonna be a lot, especially when like Smash and some of the stuff comes out. I think that's gonna be something that we'll do quite a bit.
I have some things in the works. We'll talk off. Yeah,
we'll talk about that. And of course, you guys know where I'm at right here. You guys are watching the channel. Player Essence. I'm on Twitter. I'm also on Twitter. I have a Facebook page and, of course, my YouTube channel here if you're someone new. Also, guys, for the replay of this, the replay will be up almost instantly since it's a Google Hangout for the most part. It'll be up almost instantly. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the layout. We have and it's going to get better. Actually, I had some custom introductions to each of the parts, but I couldn't get those done in time. So it's going to get better and better with the podcast here, guys. It really is. So thank you for supporting. I really do appreciate you guys coming out. The podcast has been doing really well, and definitely we're going to continue to see what we can do to make it even better. Avidan was our guest, but he's definitely part of the community as well. Next time we'll probably have somebody that's maybe a little bit more outside of that, and we'll still bring on more people. If you want to get in on the EssenceCast, there is ways to get in. If you want to sit in on this, there's a couple different ways. If you're tier 3, on Patreon, you can definitely do so. You can get in. We're getting those guys in first, but it seems like not too many people want to get in on that. So after that, we're going to open it up to YouTube sponsors. So if you're a YouTube sponsor, you can also get in if you want to. No pressure, though. If you don't want to, that's okay. If you just want to watch, that's fine. If you actually want to get in, we'll have signups for that as well. So there'll be signups for that. And, of course, more details will be coming very soon, just as long as I just want to make sure I get all the tier 3s in first, and then we'll kind of get you guys in. So everyone who's a sponsor will be able to join in at some point. And we'll keep the rotation going because, like I said, this is a community podcast where we do have a guest or two from outside. But I want to make sure that all of you guys are taken care of, and all of you guys get an opportunity to come talk about games with me here live and be broadcasted. So I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of what we did beforehand. Give you guys just a little bit more background, I guess. We had a podcast where you guys all know John Turner, right? John Turner. We used to have the fan cast back in the day. Years ago, like 3 years ago at this point, I think. So we actually it was just called the fan cast, PE fan cast. So John Turner used to come on that a lot. So we kind of just brought that back because everyone was asking about it, Andy and other people were asking about it. So kind of just brought that back, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. So all right, so I think that's it for everyone here. I want to read off one more donation that we did get here. I saw a shimmy. I saw myself doing the shimmy in the Toby, or at least, was that me or was that Toby? I think that was Toby. Toby was doing the shimmy. And he says, Shinobu says, donated $5 and says, I just hit level 39 16 minutes ago. And then, so shout out to Shinobu. Did I say Shinobi? Shinobu. Shout out to Shinobu. That's it. Shinobi needs to come back, though. That video game needs to come back.
The classic Sega franchise.
That was a great game.
It was a great game. I even liked a little bit. I think there was like a DS game or a 3DS. There was like a 3DS game.
3DS game, yeah.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't as good, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I own it actually. It's on my 3DS collection, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. So yeah, thank you so much, Shinobu. Do appreciate that. Shout out to the Hidden Level 39. I want to thank all of my guests that I have on for the podcast, and looking forward to seeing you guys later. I'll be on the Spawncast later tonight as well. So if you guys want to check out the Spawncast, make sure you guys do so. I'll be on at 6 p.m. PT. That is 9 p.m. Eastern time, and really late if you're anywhere else in Europe or anything like that. So really, I think it's really late. So all right, so we'll see you guys then. Thanks for coming out. Bye.
Peace.